Hello everyone and welcome to Season 6, Episode 39 of Pro Wrestling's Top 50. I'm your host Travis McNeil, and today we continue our countdown of the top 50 matches of 2021 with match number 12 on our list, which is the never Openweight title match between the champion Shingo Takagi and the challenger Hiroshi Tanahashi from the New Japan Pro Wrestling New Beginning in Nagoya event held on January the 30th of 2021. If you like dragon screw leg whips, this is the match for you. There's a lot in this match. On a serious note though, I referenced earlier on in this season about how some of the best professional wrestling matches ever can make you care about the winner with your heart, despite what your brain might tell you makes the best sense, business-wise. And no wrestler does that better than Hiroshi Tanahashi. One of the best wrestlers of his generation. He performs at such a high level in big matches. He's done it time and time again throughout his career. The fact that, his longevity, that he's still going, as hard as he does this far into his career is incredible. Throughout, the past, I'll say 5+ years, he's someone that, is maybe in the twilight of his main event run. He's had, an extended run on top now through New Japan. And he's someone that, a very easy comparison is to make it, compare him to John Cena. He's somebody that, has always really been a face, been a top guy in the company, has his stuff that he does very well and, is over with the crowd and everything like that. But he's somebody now that, when he wrestles people, especially, younger up and coming talent, I don't want to see him win, right? I, like to see him used to put over these younger guys, or these guys that, are maybe on the cusp of a main event. So, occasionally Tanahashi will win these big matches. And my brain goes like, no, why did he beat Kota Ibushi to win the G1 climax? That's stupid. Or why did he beat Shingo, and win the never Openweight title? Like, Shingo was on the cusp of this great run. But like, my God, the story that they craft throughout these matches, despite my brain thinking one thing, I get so caught up watching these matches, especially spoiler free, where by the end of it, I'm rooting for Tanahashi to win. And that is the magic of pro wrestling. And that is what makes him a magical pro wrestler. And that is exactly what happens in this match. When I watched it live, spoiler free, I could not believe that he beat Shingo. Like, that was absurd to me. But when it happened, I was so happy that they had this incredible match and Tanahashi overcame. The story that they tell here is just, it's so great and it's so compelling. And it's basically that, Tanahashi knows that he can't go toe-to-toe with Shingo. And what he has to do is he has to capitalize on every weakness he can, through Shingo, and which is the leg, right? Shingo's a big power wrestler. You work over the leg. You can't use those leg muscles to lift you up. Can't hit a lot of his big offense. Can't get the run on the pumping bomb or clothesline. And eventually you work on that leg till the man can't get up anymore. And you have your big shot to finish the match with Tanahashi is the high fly flow, his frog splash that he does. And the thing I love about this is that is, the same game plan that we saw from the Great Muta. When the Great Muta, really started to change his style and, started using the Shining Wizard, that would be his strategy, that he would just work over the legs of his opponent until his opponent couldn't stand anymore and, would be on one knee. He'd blast him with the Shining Wizard, and that was the one-shot kill. That would win him the match. Tanahashi wrestled the Great Muta at Wrestle Kingdom in 2009, I believe. It could be a little off with that right now. And got the win over him and, basically beat, this New Japan icon to cement himself as the new, the icon of the new era of New Japan, coming out of what was, considered the dark period for New Japan, some years where they really struggled business-wise. And Tanahashi helped carry carried the company into that new era. And that Muta match was a really good kind of big kickoff for that. So, it's not lost on me, him using that strategy now that he's later in his career. And it creates this amazing match where, Shingo is used to steamrolling his opponents. He's used to outpowering his opponents. He feels like he should be able to pummel and destroy Tanahashi, and it doesn't work for him. And it leads to him having to change up his game late in the match, which we'll get to. And it's an incredible piece of work. It's a masterpiece. This match was. I believe Meltzer gave it 5 stars, and it is very, very well deserved. Tanahashi, tries to control early, basic side headlock. But Shingo very quickly outpowers him, and Tanahashi grabs like this fluke roll up and almost gets the win over Shingo very early, and that causes Shingo to just completely pummel Tanahashi, right? He's had enough. He's going to dominate and end this match in short order. And Tanahashi is so great because while he's getting pummeled in the corner, the referee kind of backs Shingo out of the corner. Tanahashi just throws this sucker punch at Shingo. And, any other wrestler, you look at that as kind of like heelish. But for Tanahashi, who just got his ass beat in the corner, he's got this like Rocky Balboa feel to him where it's like he took his shot. Like he had to get his shot in. He didn't lie down and die from the strikes. He found an opening and he took it. And he hits a drop kick to the knee, and he just starts to go to work on the knee of Shingo. And Shingo, holds up his end of the bargain here. His selling in this match is really great. Really makes it seem like, he's in trouble, that his leg is hanging on by a thread. There's a point where Shingo hits like a cactus jack, like clothesline, where they both go over the ropes to the floor, and he just sells landing on his leg like crazy. And it causes him again, just like when he pummeled Tanahashi early on, it puts that kind of fear in him of like, I need to finish this match fast. And he slams Tanahashi on the apron and hits a DDT on the floor and starts to go to all of this big stuff. But Tanahashi is able to persevere. There's a point where he hits Dragon Screw, and Shingo tries to like fighting spirit through it because that's what he does and go for the sliding lariat. But as he's coming in, Tanahashi just drop kicks him in the knee again and goes back to work with another Dragon Screw. Shingo goes for the Death Valley Driver on the apron. What does Tanahashi do? He drop kicks the knee and gets the Aces High to the floor, the big, frog crossbody to the floor. Shingo can't get any of his offense mustered in this match. The Gory Bomb and Made in Japan and the Pumping Bomber where he has to come off of the ropes on a very quick run. All of these moves that, he would use to put this guy away, he can't do because of that leg. And it leads to this amazing switch in the strategy where Shingo realizes, like, I can't wrestle my type of match against Tanahashi because I'm trying to, and it's causing me to lose. So what does he do? He switches and he wrestles Tanahashi's match instead. Out of nowhere, he's able to hit one of Tanahashi's signature moves, the twist and shout. He hits it twice, and then he goes to work on Tanahashi's leg with the Dragon Screws. He uses a half crab, and he almost gets like a little arrogant with it, and that kind of helps the story where ultimately you're going to have Tanahashi win, and Shingo's, part of LIJ. He's got a big fan base too. You want the crowd to react positively to Tanahashi winning as well as the viewer at home. So, Shingo starts playing air guitar on Tanahashi's leg, which is, Tanahashi does the air guitar. So again, it's these little things that kind of help put you in the corner of Tanahashi where you want to, root this legend, this older gunslinger, to victory against this guy that, is now got the advantage over him all of a sudden. Dragon Screws galore, like I said in the opening. Made in Japan gets countered to a Dragon Screw. Tanahashi goes for the Texas Cloverleaf. Shingo really puts that over by like immediately scrambling the ropes and actually trying to climb on the top rope to get, out of the range of that submission move. So what does Tanahashi do? Dragon Screw from the top rope. He gets the Cloverleaf. Shingo, this is the thing, he goes to work on this leg, but I think ultimately Tanahashi knows he's not going to win this match by submission. And I did that Muda reference where really he's just softening, Shingo up where he can't stand any longer. So he uses this Texas Cloverleaf and he eventually abandons it, hits the high fly flow to the back, goes for the one to the front, misses it, and that nearly cost Tanahashi the match here. Where Shingo is able to just start bringing the thunder that he hasn't been able to do, throughout the match. Tanahashi gets really desperate and starts going for all of his signature moves, deviating from his game plan. He tries the dragon suplex, he tries the sling blade multiple times, and now this time it's Shingo who is countering everything that Tanahashi's throwing at him, hitting his own dragon screws. He hits like a disgustingly sick head drop made in Japan for 2. He goes for the last of the dragon, which is like the shoulder mounted made in Japan. And Tanahashi, again, it's this story of these parallel, game plans that are different that eventually become one. How does Tanahashi get back into things? The same way that Shingo did earlier by using the twist and shout. He hits 3 of those. He's able to get a straight jacket German suplex for 2. He's finally able to get the sling blade, and Shingo does like a great crumple cell job off of that move. Sometimes that move looks so loose. But Shingo does a great job of making it look so impactful. But again, just like he did with the high fly flow earlier where he missed it, he goes, for the aces high cross body. Shingo is able to pretty much catch him. It's not perfect, but he catches him coming down and hits him with the Death Valley driver. It finally gets the big pumping bomber after he'd failed a couple times to do it because of the bad leg. He's able to power through this time. That only gets him a 2. So we really get into these big time near falls, but that are all making sense within the story of the match that they're trying to tell. Our closing run is so great. It's so dramatic. Shingo just destroys Tanahashi with lariat after lariat after lariat. Tanahashi, I called him earlier, the old gunslinger, just will not go down. Throws the defiant slap that we've seen him do so many times. Shingo just pops him in the mouth with a jab, almost a callback to that cheap sucker punch Tanahashi did at the start of the match. So Tanahashi just throws a wild headbutt, just almost in a way out of character for him. Goes for the sling blade, only gets a 1 count. Shingo blasts him with the pumping bomber, only gets a 1 count. Another defiant slap. Shingo takes his head off with another lariat. And at this point, it seems like Shingo will not be denied. He weathered the storm. We're 35 minutes into the match. Tanahashi's had his head taken off. He's got a bum leg now. He's missed all of his big moves. He's old, he's tired, he's broken down, and Shingo seems to just have that little bit of juice left. He's overcome the bad leg, he's survived some big offense, and he's still got his big gun, ready to go, and that's the last of the dragon. But when he goes for it, Tanahashi somehow shifts his weight, turns it into a final sling blade, heads up top, hits aces high. This time Shingo cannot catch him coming down. He eats it. It's a dragon suplex finally that only gets him 2. Tanahashi heads up one more time, and finally the story pays off. Shingo can't stand. He's taken the moves on the neck. The knee is too bad. He's exhausted all of his last bit of energy to kick out of that dragon suplex, Tanahashi's original finishing move, and it's the high fly flow that does it. It puts the champion down, and Tanahashi, for the first time in his career, wins the never Openweight title, one of the only titles that has eluded him, in his New Japan career. Just an incredible thrill ride of a match. It's pandemic era New Japan, but this is probably as hot as you're going to see a clap crowd in New Japan. They rally for this match. The story is excellent. You could look at notes for this match on paper and go, well, there's 25 dragon screws in it. How exciting can it be? It is so exciting. They tell just this masterful story here. I love game plans in pro wrestling. I've talked about it so many times in my videos before. That's the way to make a compelling match and make it seem, that, even wrestling, it's not a real fight, but you make it seem like you've got this strategy that you're trying to use to win, and it makes it seem more legitimate. And these guys are experts at doing that, and they put it on full display here for an absolutely incredible, world-class masterpiece of a match. They would go on to meet again at the Tokyo Dome for the weird kind of summer Tokyo Dome show that I think everybody hoped, would be a big hit for New Japan. It was supposed to be Shingo and Ibushi. Ibushi got pulled. Tanahashi slid in. They had another great match at that show. It was a narrow miss for the top 50. It fails to compare to this one, in my opinion. This is the far superior match. And when I do this countdown, I look, for uniqueness and and different promotions and matches that I can pull in that ultimately stand out to me more throughout the year. And, while a great match at the Tokyo Dome, the crowd wasn't as hot. You have this reduced clap crowd in the big Tokyo Dome. It felt a little sterile, didn't have the great story or the great moments or the great conclusion that this one had. So still well worth watching, an excellent match, but it lived in the shadow of this one. And this one was one of the best matches all year. You can check it out, of course, on New Japan World. You can subscribe to my channel here on YouTube so that you never miss a video. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Wrestling50. And please join me again next time as we continue to count down Pro Wrestling's Top 50.